Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, I am Blake Smith, and with me are my partners in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt and Mr. Ryan Roberts. How are y'all doing? You did not just finger shoot at the fucking camera. Oh, Jesus
That's because it's Ryan and he can't be trusted.
Dear God almighty, my dude.
How are we this evening? My anxiety's in overdrive. Go and watch the pre-broadcast and you'll find out why.
I am fantastic. And I'm excited about our guest tonight, man. We met her at the Paracon up in Kansas City, and she was awesome. So we had to have her on the show.
We did. Yeah. I've been speaking with her for the last couple of weeks, trying to get her on the show. So we're excited to have her on. I'm just going to go ahead and bring her on. Why not?
Let's go, because she's interesting.
I know, we were bantering backstage before the show, so I'm ready to bring her on here and introduce her to our peeps. So she is the co-host of Darkwoods Paranormal podcast with Gabriel Von Graves, and is also a paranormal investigator. We love guests like this because we get to just nerd out for like a whole entire hour. So
and hear their stories.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and bring to the stage Miss Raven Knight. Hey, Raven, how's it going?
Hi, Raven.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, the fact that you guys love to nerd out, I also love to nerd out. So let's nerd out together.
I am all about this. I am so happy that you came on with us because we got to talk to you a little bit at the Missouri Paracon. And you've got some really, really cool stories. And I'm looking forward to hearing a lot of them. So
good.
I want to. So I always love whenever we have fellow podcasters on because, we're always wanting to talk to like the guests who also do the investigations, but it's a kind of a refresher when we get fellow podcasters on. So tell us, how did Darkwoods Paranormal podcast come about?
Oh boy. Okay. So I actually, and I was telling you a little bit before the show that I was doing a whole other podcast with a bunch of friends. We were doing, actually, I'm really big into true crime as well. True crime always, but yes. Oh, so true crime has always been my jam. Like when I was a kid, I was watching Dateline and 2020 when everyone else was watching Full House. Like I was.
And I'm your girl right here. I'm your girl.
Yes. Oh, we can talk. We can talk all day. True crime. So I had a really fun podcast with a group of friends. And it was awesome. And I was actually working at, the place that I work at now, which I'm not going to actually mention, but I was working at this place, and the co-host that I have now was also working there and wanted to start a podcast. And at the same time, the other podcast kind of fell apart in a way. There were 6 of us, and now there's only 2 remaining of that group, which is unfortunate, but that kind of happens with podcasts. And, yeah. So there's 2 of them left, and I actually, Gabriel and I kind of got together and started doing this one. Like he wanted to start a podcast. I knew about podcasts. We're both deeply into the paranormal. We both had experiences in the paranormal. I've loved the paranormal. Since I was a kid, I've also been unsolved mysteries and into anything like that.
Yeah.
X-Files, like obsessed with the X-Files as a child.
Yes.
Still traumatized by the opening music to Unsolved Mysteries, but that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah, Robert Stack scared the hell out of you.
Oh God, yes.
Still terrifying.
And an X-Files girl, I'm going to tell you that I watched so much X-Files when I was pregnant with my son that after he was born, I literally had the room to myself, turned the television on, the X-Files was on, and the kid opened his eyes and looked around. He recognized the music. I'm a big X-Files fan. I'm with you on that. With you.
Yes. So, we both have had like paranormal experiences. So Gabriel's had a lot of them actually since he was a kid. And I was the kid doing seances in my mom and dad's house. I don't know if they're listening, but
no,
subscribe, mom and dad.
Yeah, sorry.
We won't tell anybody.
She'll be like, sometimes we think this house is haunted, and I'm like, wasn't me.
You don't say.
Anything? No.
Yeah. No. You're like, oh, I forgot to close that portal. Sorry, my bad.
So were they into the paranormal as well, or they just like wanted nothing to do with it?
My parents?
Yes.
Oh yes, actually, my mom is very much into the paranormal. We when Ghost Hunters came out, we always watched the original Ghost Hunters. In fact, the day that we were going to, or the night before we went to Paracon, I went to drop. I have a couple of kids, and I dropped my boys off at their grandpa and grandma's house, and they were watching Expedition Bigfoot, which I thought was hilarious. So I dropped my boys off, and when I went and I met them at the Paracon, I had to tell them that my parents are huge fans, and so they took a picture with me for my mom and dad. And when I told Dustin that we used to always, Dustin Perry, that is, we used to watch Ghost Hunters all the time. He's like, let's make a video for your mom, and grabbed my phone and made my mom a video. So I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
I'm like you. I went all the way down the line to every one of them. Was like, oh my God, we used to watch you every Wednesday night. So.
Right. And on Halloween, I remember we walked around on Halloween. And, that was the thing. You go back, and they always had the live investigation that they would do, and they would let the audience see if they could, what they could see on the live investigation, and that was the ritual we would do. I'd take the kids out ghost hunting, and we'd go, or not ghost hunting, trick or treating, and we'd go back to my parents' house and watch the live investigation.
We realize why you get it confused, because ghost hunting to us is trick or treating. We get it. We totally understand.
Yes.
So you said that you had experiences. So what was your first experience that kind of opened your eyes to the paranormal world?
Gosh, that's kind of a tough one, because there's one that I could say was, but I don't really think it was, now that I'm, I will say, instead of saying what my first experience is, I would love to say what my biggest experience is.
Sure.
Okay.
That was when I was working college radio, and in the station there was a newsroom. So you have I always have to do the thing with my hands, to explain it. But there's a big a big window essentially from the newsroom to the studio itself.
Right.
So I was doing
partition.
Yeah. And so I'm doing stuff for the news, just working on some stuff. And there was a guy in there, and he was doing DJ stuff, playing music. And so I can see him, he can see me, and there's a hallway, and the hallway it leads to a door, but the door's locked, so there's nowhere else to go. You're just going to go to this locked door, essentially, unless you're the professor. But it was later, no one was there, and there's nowhere else to go. Okay. So that's what you need to do. So I'm sitting there doing something, and he's sitting there DJing or hanging out in the studio, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something walk by. And at the same time as something walks by, the lights flicker. So the lights in both, the studio and the newsroom both flicker. And him and I both looked at each other did you see that? And it was enough for I got up and went into the studio and asked him if we both were what was that? And there was nobody there. There was nowhere to go. The door was locked with nobody. And so we were both okay, that's super, super odd, but okay, whatever. That being said, after that situation, or after that happened, there were a lot of experiences after that where I lived at that radio station. I pretty much lived there. I had 3 shows a week. I had a show that would be from 10 to midnight. So I'd be the last one in the building. I know I was the last one in the building. The security guard had already walked through, did his thing. There's nobody else in that building. And yet the microphone would turn itself off, or turn itself on. I'd turn everything off and it would turn itself on. You'd hear keys jingling. You'd hear footsteps. The doors would lock themselves. If I had a guest up there or somebody a friend up there and they went to the bathroom, I'd be be careful, because that door will just lock. Whoever's with us does not like you, it'll just, and it did. And you just had this feeling, that there was something else kind of there. And it wasn't just me. I mean, other people up there were having some other experiences. And so I didn't put 2 and 2 together until much later. I don't even know how much later, but later on in life. But the 3rd floor of North Hall, which is where I was where the radio station was. And the 1st floor is where the dean of students had her office. And shortly before any of this stuff started happening. The dean of students was on her way to school one morning and got into a car accident and actually died.
Oh,
shit.
And so later on, like I didn't, didn't put the two and two together. And not saying, I mean, it obviously could be her, could not be her, whatever, right? But I just thought that was very ironic that I hadn't noticed anything, and then all of a sudden, things like that were happening. But that was like the biggest.
So the strange thing started after this particular person was in the car accident.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, the spirit was on its way to work, and maybe the spirit, not knowing she had passed on, was finishing up the routine.
Right. So, and I know that other people had experiences up there. I don't know exactly what all of their experiences were at that point, but yeah.
I swear to God, if I die and I wake up and I continue to go to work, I'm gonna figure out some other way to get out of the afterlife. Like that's some bullshit.
I mean, my only other thought was, it could have been maybe she just loved her job and loved the place she was heading to it and needed to.
Almost to me, it almost sounds like a little residual, almost just because of if she did that all the time, the imprint of that energy. Then something happens to her, and then that it's still her energy cycling through there. So but what makes it more is that it happened. It only started happening after she was in the car wreck and passed away.
Right.
Now, did you ever get a chance to go back and investigate that building?
No, but now that I was actually just telling that story, and I went, I should go investigate that building.
Yeah.
Why do I not investigate? Like, I didn't even think of that until I was telling this.
Hello, alumni, spooky paranormal investigator here. I'm coming back.
Right here, I got tools.
I did the first 13-hour show, straight there, the last day up there.
Living legend here. Let me in the building.
Haven't you heard of me?
She's just walking around like, you don't know who I am? You don't know who I am? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I've built this radio station.
So, do you do public investigations? Do you actually take people out to go and investigate with you? I mean, is that something they can do?
We're not there yet. However, that is hopefully in the works. We are. We actually just launched this podcast in October of last year.
Oh,
so
congratulations!
Yeah. Well, thank you. And
hold on, I gotta ask though, what date? Like, what's the date that y'all launched?
Oh, he's wanting to know for a reason.
October 25th.
Shut up! We're October 26th.
Yeah.
Must be a good month to launch spooky podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we launched ours October 26th of 2021. So yeah. That's freaking cool.
That is super cool.
Anyways, go on with your fabulous story. My bad.
I was just gonna say, we don't do things, I guess, like normal.
Who does?
Yeah.
What's normal?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's better to not be, I always say. But we went to Eureka Springs, Arkansas last year. Have you guys been?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that place so much.
Yeah.
I want to go back so bad. But we went. So every year they have a zombie crawl. It's not a pub crawl. It is a zombie crawl where the entire town gets together, and it's a small town with a ton of history. Crescent Hotel's there, just full of haunted history. But this whole town, by the time that they start the zombie crawl, it is full. Like, it is so packed with people that all you see is heads, just packed. And it's a family event. Everybody dresses up like a zombie. Well, maybe not everybody. You've got the people watching, of course, but you have a huge zombie parade in the town, and it's incredible.
Why have I not heard of this? Because I'm all about a good costume. I'm so in on this.
It was incredible, and it was like the best way to launch our podcast. We went down there. We went down there as vendors. We had 5 episodes under our belts. We were, and then just did it, and it was amazing. Yeah.
So
go ahead,
Blake.
Sorry, I was gonna say, if you also didn't know about Eureka Springs, they also have a huge fae and fairy community as well. That they have fairy doors around town that I was absolutely fascinated by, because I was looking out for them. Like, there are these itty bitty little doors that can't be more than like a foot tall, and all these different businesses have them just right outside that they decorate, and they give offerings and welcome the fae and fairies into their. I love Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs is such like a welcoming community for anybody in the paranormal.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's such and it's a town. It's so filled with history, and it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful spot. And yeah, I mean, we stumbled into this is totally off topic kind of, but we stumbled into a store, and you know, like I said, I have kids, so every time I go on a trip, I have to buy them something. So we went in there, and we didn't realize that the store itself had a rabbit that would take your money and then give you your. I have the video. It's amazing. You would take your money and then put it to the side, and then you'd give the rabbit your receipt, and the rabbit would bring it back and give you the receipt and then the bag. And it was just incredible. Known because of this mini lot that works there. It's like the home of the working rabbit, I think they say on the outside of the store.
Are they short of people?
Is it a guy in a costume? What is
it?
It's
an actual
it's a mini lot.
Okay.
It's a rabbit.
Oh, okay. So it's an actual rabbit. Okay,
Ryan's just picturing this guy sitting up on the counter and just
Dude,
like,
that would be creepy, Ryan.
I don't know. You said it's a welcoming community. They could welcome a lot of people in that place.
That is true.
She didn't say it was a furry community, Ryan.
It's really furry. It was a furry. Yeah. No, it was an actual rabbit.
I'm proud of you, Shelley, for knowing
awesome.
your terminology.
Yeah.
Look at me. I learn shit all the time.
Your dictionary, we got you working out great.
I've learned a lot of new words.
So you said you launched your podcast when you went up to Eureka Springs. You had 5 episodes under your belt. Like what's your process like? Like, do you guys just delve really deep into research? Do you guys just pick a topic and like discuss it, or pick a location and discuss it? How do you do it?
Oh gosh, we don't even discuss it. No, I mean, we started like that, where we would kind of discuss those kinds of things. Like, I'd be like, oh, I want to do this, and it would be fun, like whatever, you know. We don't really care what each other does, to be honest. Like, the way that we do this though is like, he'll come up with something he really wants to do. Well, like he did an episode on the Mandela effect, for example. Cool. And his whole thing is like to research that, and he does it all on his own and releases it. And it's the same thing. Like, I just like the Velisca X murder house. Like, I love true crime, so this is right up my alley. Like, so, you know, something like I wanted to do that. And so we don't really discuss exactly what we're doing. You know, he'll say, okay, well, I'm going to do one this week. And we try to, you know, make it even. So he'll do one, I'll do one, whatever. Right. Just so we're even at it. But we don't really like, it's like we're both, you know, he finds something he wants to work on. He does the research. He posts it. I do all of our social stuff, our social media stuff. That's all me. But then I will do the same thing. Like, I'll find something I really want to talk about. When it comes to like, we started adding like more interview type stuff. Like, that's a little bit different. You know, if he can make it, he'll be on. But otherwise, yeah, that's kind of
It was in this moment that I realized that the three of us are entirely too codependent on one another. Because we were like, we'll pick the topic, and we're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think of this? Well, I found this about this, and do you think that this would fit good into my episode? That we're like, yeah, we're way entirely too.
It's not to be said that he doesn't like. He won't call me and be like, hey, what does this sound like? Or how do you feel about? You know, we'll do that too. Like. He does that a little bit more than I do.
I have literally read Shelley my entire script before.
Oh, he'll do that too. I mean, he will literally be like, he'll call me and be like, okay, what is this? How do you like this intro? Or how do you like this? Or what do you think of this subject? Or, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not the only ones.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what kind of topics do y'all cover? You said true crime. Obviously, we know paranormal. Do y'all get into aliens? Do you get into cryptids?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's everything from spirits to cryptid. I love a good cryptid, though. I do love a good cryptid. Yes, Ryan.
Yes.
Yes. I actually did the Beast of Bray Road.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. not super long ago. And because that was a story, like I'm in Wisconsin. I'm
Mhm.
not super duper far from that place. So I'd always wanted to cover that just because I'd always heard that story from being around here.
Mhm.
And so I covered that story. And then when we went to Milwaukee HorrorCon a few weekends ago, actually not 2 weekends ago. And we were really close. So we're like, let's go check it out. It was only like a half an hour away. And, you know, Bray Road, it's not, if you know anything about the Beast of Bray Road, like the story makes it sound like Bray Road is like a secluded, long road. Like you just think of that in your head when you're researching it and listening to anything about it. And it's not. It's maybe a mile or two long. It's not very secluded. There's houses out there. You're like, oh, it's not exactly what I was thinking.
Darn, not what I was envisioning. I mean, that happens a lot of times. So you'll see like some of these places on television, you think they're isolated, and you're like, oh, there's a neighborhood right there, right beside it.
Oh man, it's kind of a bummer.
So we know that you investigate. Where has been one of your favorite places that you've investigated? Where is the place that if somebody says, let's go right now, that you're dropping everything and that's where you're going?
I don't know, because I don't think I've found it yet. That's
Really?
actually,
You haven't found your favorite child yet?
Your favorite child.
I know what my favorite child is. I have two. I love them both equally.
I do
But-
too. No, I don't know yet. I have a couple.
What do you
like,
have
we
an
have a couple-
affinity for?
What do I have what did you say?
What do you have?
An affinity. Which one do you have
yeah.
an affinity for? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I want to say like we just did one. And I'm not going to say it's like my favorite. I want to leave that door open because there's more that I want to do.
Right.
Yeah. This one was really cool though, just because it was at a little bar in Wisconsin called Skippy's Bar, and it was really cool. We did it, gosh, right after Paracon, right after we got back from Paracon, we did this one, and the story was, now there was a bartender that worked there. I did a whole interview with him beforehand. He had said that, he thought the place was haunted. Nobody believed him. Everybody thought he was full of crap, right? And so he was trying to tell the story about all of these things that had happened. He would take like people after bar close and try to bring them to, or like on little mini ghost hunts after bar close. And I guess essentially trying to prove, that all of these things were happening. This was several years ago that he worked there. So the people who own it now, they were open to us coming in and investigating, which is how this happened. So we went to go investigate the place. There was a couple more people while we were doing the investigation than we had hoped, only because like the energy wasn't, there's so much energy from other people that we weren't getting the stuff that maybe we could have been getting otherwise. But that being said, what made it kind of cool, or like one of, I guess, my favorite stories, or we could say, so we had a REM pod and it was sitting on top of the bar, and it wasn't like nothing was happening. You've got some people, they're sitting back in the game room, and the bar is really small, by the way. That was the other thing. We didn't realize how small the bar really was before we went in to do this. So they're all kind of in the other room, and they start to walk into the room where the bar is, and the REM pod starts going off. The REM pod only went off like as soon as the owner, so the new owner stepped into the room. So it went off. Like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Then nothing else is really happening. The EMF detector was going off, but like, I don't know. I don't really want to say that was anything upstairs. Like, because it was, we did a sweep. It was already kind of being weird. I didn't want to call it like,
right.
Let's not just say
when in doubt, throw it out. I know what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. Like, let's not just say it's paranormal. So anyway, all of this, still nothing's really happening. So we're like, okay, I have this idea. So the group of them had been in the basement. So I was upstairs with some people who were trying to do EMF stuff. And then there's a group of them downstairs. and they're trying to figure out what they can figure out downstairs, right? Nothing's happening downstairs, nothing's happening upstairs. So they come upstairs, and I say, you know what? Let's take the owner. The owner's name is Chelsea. So I say, maybe Chelsea and I just need to go downstairs, because when she had walked into the room and the REM pod went off, maybe whoever's here wants or likes Chelsea. Maybe that's what's up, you know. So let's go check it out. So Chelsea and I go downstairs, and we're sitting in the basement, and she's holding on to an EMF detector, and I'm saying, well, you know, why don't you just try to talk to this person that you think it could be, right? So I will give you a little backstory here. So the person there, they thought that there were already maybe like a spirit or two in the bar already, but they also had this theory that one of the former patrons of the bar was a man named Jack. He was a regular. He would come into the bar every single day. He had his favorite beer, you know, like he would drink a Liney's, and he would go to the bar every single day. And he was the guy that, one of the guys that the bartender Luke would say, hey, this place is haunted. And Jack would be like, no, it's not. You know, like he's definitely a skeptic and like whatever. So when Jack died, they took his ashes and they put his ashes back behind the bar. So his ashes are actually in that bar.
Right.
Shit.
That's inviting a haunting. Go ahead. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like being like, yeah, okay. So I'm sitting downstairs with Chelsea, and she's holding on to the EMF detector, and she's asking, like, Jack, are you here? Or whatever. She's, you know, Jack, is this you? I just want to know if it's you. And now upstairs, the EMF detector is going off crazy, but downstairs, the EMF detector is doing nothing. Okay. So she's holding on to it. It's not doing anything. All of a sudden she's asking, Jack, is this you? And it starts lighting up and it's doing some stuff. And she's like, and I'm like, just keep, you know, just keep talking to it. And it's still doing some stuff, and it's really lighting up. And she just has this moment, and she's just all of a sudden just overwhelmed with feelings. Like she is all of a sudden, she's just overtaken by emotion, not sadness, just like a wave. And you go just watch it. I'm trying to also record this on a TikTok live. So I'm trying to record this. And Luke, and this is like 4 a.m, by the way. Luke is watching at home, the bartender. He's watching at home, and he's like, the TikTok is really lagging right now. Like it's really lagging. So anytime that we got any experience, of course.
Oh yeah.
Lagging.
They're messing with technology for sure. It always happens.
And this was it. So at the exact same time the EMF detector is going off, she just starts crying. Like she is just overtaken by all of this emotion. And now the TikTok live is lagging. So I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. You know, like so she's down there for a while, and you know, she, like I said, she's not sad. She's just like feeling just really emotional. Like just really. So anyway, we decided we go back upstairs, because at this point, somebody from upstairs comes downstairs and she says, we're now getting stuff upstairs. So we go upstairs, and sure enough, they have the REM pod on a table upstairs, back where the game room was. And I only know like the story that they told me. So one of the guys who was up there, who's also he's a current bartender, he was trying to like, you know, get anything he could get, like EMF or he had a spirit box. Sorry, he had a spirit box. He's trying to talk to that, not getting anything. And for some weird reason, he decided he was going to sing. And as soon as he started singing into the spirit box, the REM pod starts going off. So he goes, "Huh, you like music?" That's
or maybe they wanted him to shut up. One of the
actually, he wasn't the greatest singer, and no. So they decided to start playing music, and it's on an iPhone, so it's not like it's big boom and bass, because you know, like, also like, well, does that affect it? But apparently, if it's not big booming bass or whatever, it doesn't really affect the REM pod. So anyway, yeah, like, and it would just go off, and certain songs it would stop. It'd be like, we realized it did not like Eddie Money, Take Me Home Tonight, did not like that. Foreigner, it would go off for Foreigner. It was all about Foreigner. But so then I'm like, okay, well, now we need to make sure that there's not the music that's doing this too. So we turn the music off. And Luke, again, the bartender who's watching from home, he goes, you should ask him, like, yes or no questions and like, yes, blink once for yes, blink twice for no kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, why not? Same thing. I'm like, okay, let's do that. If this is Jack, let's blink once for yes, twice for no, and it blinks once. And again, same time, TikTok's lagging. So some interesting things happen. Like some of it you can be like, oh well, I don't know, is it really paranormal? Or
Right.
Well, you have the
I like
consistency though, which is that's what validates it. If you can get it to consistently do it,
That's
on demand and at
on
at
command.
request, and it does
Right.
it over consistently, then I think you have something there, and you have the two different items. TikTok. I'm not technologically in the know. Whatever that is.
Christ.
That one I don't know how to use, which are pretty much all of them, and the REM pod at the same time. Yeah, I think you've got something there.
Right.
Leave
And
me
that's
alone
what
with
I
my
was
TikToks.
I think and the reason why this was my, I guess, like best story or favorite one that I want to bring up is because we got done. It was like 5 a.m. As soon as I leave, I get a text message from Luke, who's basically just said, you know what? Thank you so much, because now I feel validated. Now I feel like, everybody thought I was crazy for this whole time. Like everybody's always been like, oh, whatever, like you're crazy. Even Jack, who they thought might be the one haunting the bar, were like, what an ironic prank that would be. But even Jack, who's the skeptic, he was like basically just saying, you know what, thank you for validating me. That was one, and that made me feel really good. And then the other thing is that Chelsea, who owns the bar, at the end of the day, like she was happy that we were there. She felt like, if it was Jack, she saw Jack every day. She had a personal connection with this person, and to think that maybe he was the person, it's not to her now, it wasn't a scary, and it wasn't a malevolent or something like that. It could be somebody that she actually had a relationship with. So for me, I thought that was a win,
And I like Jack because he's like, this bar's not haunted, but now it is because I'm haunted.
It's always
before.
Yeah, it is now. No, I will attest to ashes causing a haunt. I mean, my grandmother sits right there, so so yeah, so and I see her and hear her a lot. We'll just say that. Oh yeah. So, but I always love whenever you can give that kind of moment to somebody in the paranormal with whatever you're doing, whether it's investigating or whether if you're a tarot reader, or I throw spirit dice. When you can make that connection for somebody where they're like, it's that profound moment of somebody that they know, and they're like, there's no way you should be able to know this. Like it's, I don't know. That's such a moving moment to be a part of. So that's really cool that you've had one of those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unless they're jerks like the ones that talk to me and want to tell everybody's secrets.
What?
No. Whole nother story.
Shelly is an asshole magnet. We're just gonna put it that way.
Yeah.
I do. I attract all the ones that want to be tacky.
I was gonna say in ghost or in real life.
I was gonna say how do you think she got us two on the screen?
Living and dead. Living and dead. Yeah.
Oh, if you weren't telling the truth, it'd be funny. Anyway.
So, have you gotten to any of the bigger locations in the paranormal world since you started the podcast?
Working on it.
Okay.
Where's the biggest?
Literally got a text, and they might actually.
What
was that?
Where's the biggest name place that you've gone to since you started investigating?
We haven't done any really big ones yet. I know we haven't really done anything like super big, but we are definitely working on. I know we have some lined up that we are going to be doing. But
is there any you can divulge?
I don't know. It's not really official yet.
Okay.
Okay, so then tell us wish list. If you could wish.
Oh, I have a wish list.
Where your give me your top 3 on your wish list.
Oh gosh, I didn't know there was a quiz.
And I am judging you, so go ahead. No, I'm playing.
Oh, well, okay. I do know we do want to do the. Yeah, okay. I think that's going to make the top. The Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson.
Highly recommend.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that one we were already looking at renting out that space and doing that. That's definitely up there. I think for me, and I don't know. I think Gabriel, I think actually both of us would do anything, honestly.
Right.
I think you guys were like, hey, you guys want to go right now? We would be like, yeah, let's go.
That's us.
somebody could be like, this fucking Dorito bag is haunted, and I'd be like, dude, I got equipment. Like, let's figure it out.
Like, where we mean to look at this thing.
Right.
Honestly.
But I know the three of us, our top one is Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Yeah, we'd love to make it there.
Yeah.
That's our wish list. Yes, we have
Yeah.
not been there, and that is our number one to go to. That we are
Is
very hard to put together something.
Yes,
for that.
we are. Now, is there something about the Missouri State Pen that attracts you to it? Is there like one thing you're just like, I have to go and see this?
I think it's just, well, the history. I mean, we're both like really big into history stuff. So I think it's that. This is more of a Gabriel really wants to go to that one. I don't know what his tops are, but like I said, I think we would literally go anywhere. Because we're like, yeah, just wherever. We'll do
Let
anything.
me tell you, the gas chamber, go there and sit in the gas chamber for about an hour and see what you get.
I heard that. And I think that might be part of it too. It's just like, I mean, that there's so much activity and stuff there.
I will tell you that when we went, we were running Estes methods inside the gas chamber, and I was throwing spirit dice outside the gas chamber in the viewing area. So it was really kind of hard to hear like what was being said. But they were not only getting answers inside the gas chamber, but I was also getting relevant answers outside the gas chamber, like on the spirit dice. And they were kind of corroborating with each other, going back and forth a little bit. It's really wild. Great little look. That gas chamber is a really cool freaking area.
There are some gnarly people hanging out in that gas chamber.
Yes,
I believe that.
So what's another one?
Oh gosh, and I feel like I'm going to say all of the, but Waverly Hills probably.
That's my favorite.
Recommend.
That's my all-time favorite. I was just there last week, so yes. Such a good place. You if you go to that place and you don't have something happen, it's not going to happen because that place is that friggin' haunted. You're gonna have the best time of your life in that place.
I think that definitely has to be one then. I mean, I was like, I'm trying to think of ones that are like, because I feel like everybody probably answers like the same kind of, here's the top.
That's because they're haunted.
That's because they're
yeah.
Like, so for Waverly Hills, I tell you what, I got one of my most crystal clear EVPs at that location from a cell phone, just from my cell phone. Right. I walked into the hallway that leads to the death tunnel, and I had another investigator that was with us, and then our sometimes investigator, Rhonda, with us. We call her sometimes because sometimes she's with us, sometimes she's not. And so we're walking down to the death tunnel, and I open the door and I go, oh, I think that this is it. I think this is where we're supposed to go. And this lady, clear as day, she just goes, you can come in here. Oh, it's so crystal clear. Oh, yeah. So freaking crystal clear.
That's amazing.
And I was like,
they will talk to you there.
They will. Yeah. I was there last week, and we were walking down on the third floor, and it was a big group of us, and we heard a woman humming, and we all heard her hum like a whole tune, and we just could not figure out what it was. But I mean, it wasn't any of us. So you see that. You'll see stuff. You'll step out into the hallway. Me and Shelly had one walk towards us and wave at us and run into a room. I mean, that's
amazing.
Yeah, you're going to have to go.
The freaking Geo box screaming at us to get back in here.
Yeah, come back here. Come back
we passed by a room, and we had set up a Geo box with a camera on it, and the camera had been shut off after we had walked away. So we were turning it back on, and we start to walk down the hallway, and we just hear the Geo box going, come back here. We're like, we'll come back in a second. It was like, come back here. We're like, we were on a mission to get to like the fifth floor. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if we can throw in a suggestion, I highly would recommend you try the Indiana State Sanatorium. Ryan and I got off on one area, and we step into a room, and we have a very clear EVP that says, you're being followed. And Ryan goes, I just heard something out in the hall. I go, yeah, I heard footsteps.
Wow.
It warned us before we ever heard it.
And I was in there by myself in the nursing home portion, and on the microphone, someone goes, "Hey, where are you going?" Like clear as a bell.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that place is crazy, and you're pretty close.
Yeah, put it on the list right now.
So are you new to investigating or just new to doing this kind of the podcast, the paranormal podcast, or have you been investigating?
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Did I freeze? I'm so sorry.
You did.
You did for a second.
We're new to
That happens all
investigating
the time.
together. So he always used to. So Gabriel used to do investigations more on his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to. So it's kind of ridiculous, but when I was 16, there was nothing to do. Like I'm from a small town in Wisconsin. There's nothing. And there wasn't like now the town's grown and there's a little bit more, but back then there wasn't. So like Caryville is very close to where I live. It's a really, really small town. It's got this story of like a haunted church and a haunted schoolhouse. And so when we were like teenagers, we would always go and try to find this haunted church and this schoolhouse.
Legend tripping.
Yeah, like go find Mary Dean had gosh, what's that? Like a boat landing that had hellhounds that supposedly would come out at night and like chase you off the property. And so, you know, like I'd always done things like that when I was growing up, and but never really like, or I should also say like never really done it with somebody else in this like this way, I guess. You know,
capacity,
like,
yeah.
Gone and tried to find haunted locations myself as well, just not in like this kind of capacity, but yeah.
Right. So you said you went and checked out Bray Road. Would the Beast of Bray Road be your favorite cryptid because you're that close, or is there another cryptid that you're just like, this is the one?
See, no, we do this. So Gabriel and I will do this. I believe in a lot of cryptids. He does not believe in a lot of cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but for me, I'm like, Bigfoot has to be real. Bigfoot has to be real. He has to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Loch Ness Monster? Okay, maybe not.
No, definitely real.
I want to believe in all of them, to be honest. Like I think there's such a. I mean, I get it. Like I'm more of the Mulder in this situation. I get it. We make this joke. I think he's more Scully and I'm more Mulder, which is fine.
Right. That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, like Bigfoot for sure. Like or Mothman.
I would say, if you think Bigfoot is real, question is, do you think he's an actual ape that is running around, or do you think it's something interdimensional, something from outer space? What do you think?
Should we go take a break, bro?
Yeah, we might as well just go
bye, guys.
off camera. Like, just...
I take it you do this all the time, right?
I always like to ask people's theories because there are some people who are like, hey, this is an actual creature roaming around, or there's people that, hey, this is from somewhere else.
Right.
I'm curious what you think.
Interdimensionality.
Oh boy. I'm going to answer
favorite topic.
I didn't know this was all the test.
It's not a test.
We asked if you were sure before you got started, and you said
you signed the waiver. We're just going to put it that way.
You said, "Is there nothing?" I was thinking, I didn't know you were going to ask that question. It's not a man in a suit. I'll say that for sure. It's not a man in a suit. I think I do kind of think it's an ape, like a big creature that we haven't seen. You know, you think of like some of the areas that Bigfoot is known to wander, right? Like deep forests or whatever. Who's to say that something doesn't exist in there? You haven't been in all of the deep forests. Kind of like the deep ocean. Like you don't know what's down there. Aliens are probably down there too. Like aliens are probably from the ocean. I don't know. I could get on a whole thing, but
well,
that's what they think.
Scientists believe that there are 3 species a day that go extinct. How many have we not even found, or how many have evolved and developed?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Or like, they're just finding random fish in the ocean that they've never seen before. Like and that happens all the time. So,
I mean, it's like the Tasmanian tiger's only spotted like once every like 30 something years, So, I mean, if they can hide in plain sight, I mean, who's to say that there's not some giant ape out there doing it?
I mean, a kangaroo used to be a cryptid. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what's to say that Bigfoot is not out there? Like, for real, I'm going to agree with you, Raven, because like I am not the cryptid guy at all on this podcast. There's very few that I give credence to. Bigfoot is one of them. I actually do believe that Bigfoot is out there because, just as you said, our world is so unexplored still to this day. And it's the fact that we're building into their habitats that they're starting to come out of the woodwork a little bit more.
Sure.
No pun intended. But, you know, so I think that's why they're being spotted more often. So I completely agree with you on that.
And Blake lives really close to Boggy Creek, so he might go outside and see one.
Here we go with the folk monster again, Shelley.
I know.
Or as Ryan would say it, the Falk monster.
Hey, man, that's how it's spelled.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
Not
is.
how it's pronounced.
That's how it's
It's not how
spelled.
it's pronounced.
That's how it's spelled.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about your folk monster, right?
Well, that's how
Yeah.
it's spelled. If they want to be called something else, I'll spell it different.
Ryan, what do you believe though? Now I need to know what your theory is on Bigfoot.
Oh, did you have to go there? Can we
She did. So, I mean, I think it could be something interdimensional, but I think that's my opinion because there's so many UFO sightings around Bigfoot. So I think maybe there could be something. There's like an interdimensional component there, but I think it's just as plausible that he could be a big ape and he could be hiding out there somewhere.
You're a big ape hiding out there somewhere.
I will applaud you. Round of applause on that, Ryan, because you answered that probably in the shortest amount of time.
Shortest amount of time we've ever heard.
Hey, man, I think deeply. What can I say?
Okay, so then can I ask you, do you
Sure.
think that spirits could be interdimensional or aliens?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. I mean, things that we encounter could be time slips. There's a lot of people that think that past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. And when we see a spirit or when we have a paranormal encounter, that all of those things are converging at one time and we're able to perceive it. Or it could just be someone who's stuck here and can't move on to the next plane. I think it's all and none of those at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a mixed bag.
His answer is he doesn't know.
True, but neither.
We'll call him
None
A
of
and
us.
we'll call him B.
None of us do though.
None of us
And that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love this though. You can keep asking Ryan all the questions you want.
Yeah, keep going.
She's done flipped the script. She's
I
not the
know. Flip the
interviewer.
script on Ryan right there.
I love it.
Hey man, I got answers. So,
I don't know. Well, we did Gabriel did a whole episode on how aliens and spirits, like it could be the same thing. Like
could be.
Could they be, the same thing?
I was gonna ask you to expand on that because I caught that. You kind of just glossed over that really quick.
This was his episode.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you though, since you just kind of glossed over it, I'm gonna pick at it for a second. Explain that a little bit more to me, that ghosts could be aliens. I've heard this concept only one other time.
So I think the theory was more of there's a lot of theories actually, and I'm not going to remember all of them. I know one of them is that interdimensional, the idea of maybe like the veil is very thin at one point. Maybe it's actually not spirits. It's just aliens existing in the same plane as us at the same time. There was something about also people who have had or have been abducted or claim to have been abducted,
Right.
have a lot of paranormal activity happen around the same time that this happens.
Right.
So could it all just be connected?
Right. I mean, like you said, a lot of people who have had abductions have had poltergeist activity in their home, where they'll see the Hat Man or like shadow people. So yeah, I mean, this could all be linked to each other. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so could it be something like that? Now, do I believe that? No, not necessarily. I believe that spirits and aliens are different things. I do believe in aliens for sure, and I believe in spirits for sure. I just don't think that they're the same entity.
I would agree with you on that. I think they're
But
two
it's
separate ones as well.
It's an interesting thought or theory, that's out there. Yeah,
it is. I do think that in some way, all of this and everything that we do, no matter what you're into, whether it's hauntings, aliens, cryptids, if you're spiritual, if your religion, your religion, your belief system, I think it's all interconnected in some way. We're all connected to this in some form or fashion, creating this massive, huge web. in my opinion. And it's all directly connected to, yes, I'm going to get very, I don't know, spiritual for you. Sure, woo-woo. We'll go with woo-woo.
Sure.
I am very woo-woo. It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all connected to the cosmos as well. I mean, we're all integrated into this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think on some level that plays into the fact of why some people can experience this stuff, some people can't. And the interdimensionality of it and the different dimensions and realities and timelines and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, and there's also the theory that they are existing alongside us on this plane and we just can't perceive them because we can only perceive with our 5 senses. And there's so much more that exists here that we just don't understand.
Yeah. And I feel like there's people too that are more open to it, right? That's why you have, you know, people that are sensitive or empath or anything like that. They're going to be more open to it, right? They're going to, so I will, and I don't know how much, well, I was going to say, I don't know how much my co-host wants me to say, but
he's not here, screw him.
Yeah.
Later on, when he watches this, he'll be like, thanks for that.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
No, like, just thinking of like, you know, like some people, I've told him this before, so I think it's fine if I say it. I think he's kind of like a magnet. So he's had experiences since he was a kid, right? I think he's a magnet. I think that spirits know that he can see them or hear them or whatever, and now he is a magnet. So we go to places and they are more drawn to him because he can see them or he can sense them or whatever it is. And I think there are people that are able to do that, and that's why they have more experiences. You know, people that are skeptics or closed off or just like, because, you know, there are people that are just like not going to believe it no matter what evidence you see or hear or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have those kinds of experiences.
Well, do you think that there are people that want it too bad and it's just not going to happen to them because they want it so bad?
Kind of like jury duty.
I know. I so want to be on a jury and they will not pick me.
That is such a great analogy.
You understood exactly where I was going with that. I really wanted it, being a true crime person, and they will not pick me.
Maybe that's why. They know.
I know, that's why. Yeah, exactly.
And listen, if I'm going to go serve on a jury, loving true crime as much as I do, like I'm going to need it to be a decent case. That sounds horrible to say, I know, but like, I got jury duty summons to municipal court the other day, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna go over here and figure out if somebody's guilty over an ounce of weed, can I just walk out? Like, because I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna convict them. Sorry, like.
Yeah. I agree with you. The people that seem to really try to seek out this tend to have them less. And sometimes it's like you want it too bad. And so they're kind of like, no, you thirsty girl, go on. I'm not even going to talk to you.
You know, and there's something to be said about just, you know, a lot of people have paranormal experiences just going about their day-to-day lives. And that's when a lot of shit tends to happen. So there's a lot to be said about just if you go somewhere, just go about your business and it's more likely to happen if you're like constantly looking.
Yeah.
So Raven, can I ask you, and if you don't want to answer, it's totally fine. Do you have anything that you would consider an ability that you feel comfortable sharing?
I don't know if I would ever say an ability, but I've always been very empathic.
Okay.
So I can read people's moods, and it does affect my mood, which sucks. And I wish I could turn that off on a whim. Like, I don't care what you feel right now, but I can't, and that sucks. I've been very empathic, which is, I guess, works, you know, in certain things in the job that I do in the daytime, like it works really well. But yeah, not that I wouldn't say that. Well, I guess maybe a little intuitive as well. Usually those are pretty spot on, but usually if you follow your intuition, that's what it's there for. But yeah,
it's a blessing and a curse. I'll say that. It really is kind of a blessing and a curse, because it's if you lean into it, and I'm one of those that I believe that everybody has the ability to lean into whatever they're innately born with. That it's kind of like muscle memory. You've got to exercise it to be able to keep it going and utilize it. It can be a blessing because you can truly help people with it, but it can also be that curse where you just walk around and you're just feeling everything 100% of the time from everybody that you come across. You walk through, it's like walking through like mud almost. And you're like, get off of me. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. And you try to not let it affect your day, but gosh, it's really hard to not,
Right.
or like I can sense a mood shift real quick. And
Mhm.
I have 2 teenage boys. I mean,
Oh, poor you. Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that. Poor
yeah.
you.
Oh,
Woo!
what is wrong
God.
with you today? Oh boy. Yeah. So, there's that. Yeah. It's hard. Sometimes you do want to just turn it off, but you can't.
Yeah.
Right. Does it take you long though when you walk into somewhere to perceive that, or is it like immediate, or does it take a few minutes for you to get like comfortable with the space, or how does that work for you?
I think I'm pretty good. And I don't, it's funny because I do work I have a couple of jobs, and I work with groups of people, and it's not like that's not overwhelming for me.
Right.
For some people, like that's really overwhelming. I can feed off of energy. So if I'm in a group and like that group, like we're all, I can kind of feed off of their energy if their energy is good, but I don't think that, I don't really know where I was going with that.
He was asking if whenever you walked in, could you tell immediately? Does your intuition kick in immediately and your empathy kick in immediately?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it might work a little bit more if it's like one-on-one.
Gotcha.
I don't know. That's what I would probably say.
Right.
I mean, I get it because like when we first get to a location, like we called Shelly our sniffer. We just let her out of the car and she just goes and we just go where she goes. But like for me, if I'm trying to connect with something or someone, it's a lot better if I have that space. If I get to that space wherever I'm investigating and try to talk to the spirits that are within that room, I can connect a lot better with them. Or if I'm talking with just one person, I can connect with them a lot better than I can just being let out of the car like that one down there.
I'll go straight to wherever the hotbed is. I'm like,
she
somebody's
will too.
right here.
Straight to that's why we just say when we get there, Shelly, you just get out, you just go on up, we'll follow you.
Well, and I have to make sure she doesn't get in trouble, so I'm always like, damn it.
I never get in trouble.
We're gonna start putting we're gonna put like a small bell around your neck or something.
It's probably a good idea.
When we first get there, because we can turn around after like literally half a second and she's done disappeared. And if she's gone for more than 15 seconds, she could be anywhere in the building by that point.
Well, chances are she's in the basement. You see a tuft of blonde hair going down the hallway. You got to follow.
I believe that's what happened at our last investigation. The old boy didn't even get to talk about anything, and everybody's like, "Where's Shelly?" I'm like, I didn't even know anybody was looking for me. I got pulled and I went.
Shelly wasn't there for this, but this is literally how it went down. Okay, we'll go ahead and say it. We were at the Randolph County Infirmary. We get there.
Fabulous place.
Wonderful place. We get there. We're greeted by the gentleman who is there to tell us that he's going to tell us the story and the history and all that kind of stuff. And we go into the other room. This is, mind you, about like, I don't know, 30 seconds pass from he's like, do you want this? We're like, yeah. And we go into this other room and we sit down and the guy goes, wasn't there a blonde here? And we were like, yeah, she's off somewhere. It's okay. Just go on with your history. She's off exploring somewhere.
And I think after about 45 minutes, because it was me and another blonde, he went with me because I grabbed him and I'm like, look, I found the basement. You want to go? He's like, hell yeah. And we just took off. And it was just like, he's like, I just got a text asking where I was. I go, don't tell him you're with me. I'm not going back up there. I'm staying. I'm like, well, I'm down here. There's something going on down here. And he's like, I know. And I go, well, maybe we should go back. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah.
Well,
we're gonna get,
Shelly comes all the way back upstairs with the other investigator, walks into the room. We're all sitting hearing all this history. And the guy telling us the story, he just looks at her and he's like, hello, you can have a seat right there.
Class was in session and she was skipping school.
Exactly.
I was just tardy.
Yeah.
Tardy, that was all.
Yeah.
Spirits wouldn't wait. I had to go right then.
No.
So yours is more in a room. So you do better, but you do better on one-on-one, but you can read the room.
I think so.
I can get to that answer. Sorry.
I can read a room. I can read a room pretty well, I think. But yeah, I think more one-on-one, like if Like if Shelly and I were driving a car and all of a sudden she's having just a minute or something, I would be able to tell. Like I'd be able to be like, what just happened? Like what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, what just happened? You know, like I'd sense a shift in mood, like for sure.
Yeah.
Child, you'd be tired. My mood shifts like every 5 seconds. I'm like, I'm happy. No, I'm not. Okay, now I'm worried.
Oh, I hear that one. Yeah, I get it.
You walk into a room, Satan?
I'm the one that gets to ride in a car with her most of the time whenever we travel, and I can tell you what she just said is 100% true.
But I ask the best questions on road trips. Leave me alone. It's never boring riding with me.
No, it is not. I would not classify them as the best questions.
They're questions.
They're questions. They come out of fucking nowhere sometimes. Just driving down the road. Have you ever shit in a field? What?
On a dare. On a dare. That was the last part of that question. On a dare.
Where did that come from, Shelly? I don't know. It's just I saw those cows in that field back there. I just wanted to
reminded me of
dare
something.
you ever. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, Shelly. No,
So Blake,
I
what was
haven't.
the answer?
No, I haven't. Yes,
Not
I have.
on a dare.
I used to work
Not
on a
on a
farm.
dare.
Okay?
Yes,
Not
he
on a
has.
dare.
I used to work on a farm. All right. I've had to do that out there. I grew up on a farm. I can't help it. When you're out there baling hay and working with the cattle, there's no bathroom in sight. You do what you got to do, okay?
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Just remember to grab the toilet paper before you walk all the way
That's
into
right.
the woods.
Get it out of the truck.
Oh,
You don't have to
no.
go back for it.
Oh, yeah. No, I've learned that the hard way. But I did find out which leaves are useful. Anyways, I don't know how we got on that subject.
It's probably
Well,
my fault.
it always is. Do y'all have any final questions for Raven? Because we're about at our time that we said we would have with her.
When can they catch your podcast if they wanted to tune in and join you guys and watch you guys?
Oh yeah. So actually, a lot of our stuff is audio. Although we just started doing a lot more YouTube stuff. We release once or twice a week. This week, actually, we did. I try to release on a Sunday. So Sunday nights usually are our brand new episode. However, I released one this morning. I just dropped one this morning as well as a surprise one.
Ooh,
I know.
What's it about?
I was very excited about this one.
What's it about?
We got to talk to our very wonderful new friend, Dustin Perry, from the original Ghost Hunters
Nice.
International, also motivational speaker, author. Fantastic human, 100%. Like he was the nicest, funniest. I mean, like it's such a great episode because, gosh, he's just I don't know. I couldn't stop beaming after that one because just a great person to talk to. I mean, honestly, and maybe I shouldn't give away the surprise. There's something about Elvis in this episode as well. So,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I have to go check it out.
Tells us a fun story about Elvis, which we didn't expect, but we have so Gabriel and I have a inside, well, not really inside joke, but the conspiracy theory about Bob Joyce being Elvis. Bob Joyce,
Yeah.
the pastor from Benton, Arkansas. We're like, we need to go there to Benton, Arkansas, and check him out and see if he really is Elvis. But it's the fact that Dustin Berry brought up Elvis, we were like, what? How funny is that? But yes, we release once or twice a week. Like I said, most of it is audio right now, but adding a lot more to the YouTube because we're doing a lot more interviews and talking to a lot more paranormal investigators, a lot more authors we have coming up as well. So we have a lot coming up on that end as well. But YouTube under Darkwoods Paranormal or darkwoods.paranormal.com or anywhere you get your podcasts. So iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere like that.
All of them. All right.
You said you were on TikTok too. Is that where y'all do a lot of your investigations at?
So we're on TikTok. I just post, like, that's where I do a lot of my promotional stuff right now.
Okay.
Once we start going to some of these locations that we have planned in the future, we'll definitely put TikTok, do some TikTok lives and do some more video stuff in that way. It's just in the works. So
is that also under Darkwoods Paranormal?
It is. It's actually Darkwoods Paranorm or Norm.
Because could you not get all the paranormal there? It happens, okay? Hell, Shelly just called it Tic Tac earlier, so it's all good.
I don't know how it works, so I don't really care what it's called.
Get with the times. Come on.
I thought that got banned. I didn't even bother. Anyway. Well, all right. And with that, hey, Blake, why don't you tell them everything they need to know?
Absolutely. Well, Raven, hang with us for just a second. We got a few announcements we're going to say, and then we're going to give you a proper send-off. But let me get through these really fast. So if you want to support the show directly, check out our Patreon page. It is going to be in our Linktree link, which is going to be on our Facebook and Twitter, X. I don't know what the hell it's called anymore. On Wednesday morning. And just for $5 a month, you'll unlock over 400 exclusive videos, including pre and post broadcast shows, which are the 30 minutes before and the 30 minutes after this live broadcast, and also includes never before seen footage. But if you're not sure about joining, we do offer that risk-free trial for 7 days. So check it out before you sign up. Make sure you stay connected with us. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and many more by searching Everything Vaguely Paranormal, looking for that green sound wave, or by clicking on the icons in our Linktree link. We're still trying to hit that goal on YouTube. So go over there and subscribe on our YouTube channel for us. I think we're now like 10 away.
Yeah, we're not far.
We're getting there. So, and remember to you audio listeners, you can catch us live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to meet us in person, well, by God, you got a few choices this year. May 30th through the 1st, we'll be in the DFW area for a fan expo at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, along with Chad Wendell from Ghost Geeks, our good friend. We'll then be at the Paranormal Rockdown at Broadhead Manor in Broadhead, Wisconsin on July 18th through the 19th. Then we're heading over to the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash from July 25th through the 27th in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Then September 3rd through the 6th, we will be in Vernal, Utah for Phenomicon 2025. And finally, we will be attending the Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo on October 4th in Rock Island, Illinois. And there are still about 2 that we are waiting to confirm.
There's still a Kansas City one. You didn't mention.
Oh, yeah, the Kansas City one. We're going to be in Kansas City, KC Paracon, August 1st through the 3rd, I believe, is that, whatever that weekend is, 2nd, 3rd, yes. Somewhere in there. I'll make sure we get the dates correct before then. But make sure you subscribe to our Eventbrite page as well to be notified when our public investigation tickets go on sale. We have one new place that we're going to check out. And guys, if it's haunted, we're going to put tickets up for you to come with us. So we're grateful for your continued support. Every like, comment, share, and download keeps the adventures alive. So if you have a favorite episode, share it with your friends. Make sure you tag us. And if you have a story, comment, or question, or would like to have us on your podcast, you can email us at the evppod@gmail.com. That's THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Go like, share, and subscribe to that YouTube page. And real quick, please don't forget, April 5th is the Paraventure Live Paracon that supports the Autism Alliance of Michigan. And please don't forget to go buy your tickets there. Just look at Paraventure. There is a link to it on my Facebook page. EVP has one also up there. Please don't forget to go and support that great cause.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, we thank y'all for joining us for another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. Raven, thank you so much for coming on with us. It was an absolute pleasure. So we had a lot of fun with you tonight. So if you'll hang tight with us to the credits, we'll chit chat in the back room for just a little bit. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, for myself, I am Blake Smith. My partners in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt, Mr. Ryan Roberts, and of course, our very special guest this week, Miss Raven Knight with Darkwoods Paranormal. Y'all make sure y'all go give them a follow. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.